Hi everybody, as I'm here, your transformation coach and founder of Heal the Heart. I empower you to achieve mental emotional clarity, find your purpose and take actions to living a happier and more fulfilled life. We are here for another video from the Bits of Inspiration series, and we are so happy, I'm very happy to have my good friend Laura Troost here, who is going to share about how, as a woman, she stepped into her power. She decided at the end of last year, November 2018, to take the job that she has always dreamed of. And when it came her way, she said yes. So when, as women, we step into our own power, we not only change everything in ourselves, emotionally, physically, mentally, but those who are around us react or respond in different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm just gonna hand it over to you, and we just go and have this conversation.
Well, like you said, this opportunity came up late last summer, and I had to do a whole interview process. And through the interview process, there was some decisions to be made because it would require me to work in a different way and different time commitment. Not more, not less, just different. Everything would be different. My obligation wouldn't be as seasonal as it was before, and
you're an accountant, right?
I'm a CPA.
A CPA,
yes.
And right now you're a CFO. The job, just to let everybody know, it was you're the CFO for a co-op,
yes.
Lemon packing house.
Yes, we basically, farmers own the company, and they pick their fruit and they bring it to us, and we wash, store, and pack it and sell it.
All right. So now that we got that clear.
But previously to this, I owned my own CPA practice here in town, and I had worked really hard over 3-4 years to build the practice, and it was going very well. And to set aside one dream of having my own business, and that was going well and fulfilling me, and saying, do I want this bigger thing that's entirely different, but maybe will be better for me long term? Less stress and more fulfilling. And I'd always worked for a large firm environment and been more trained to work in a corporate environment. So while it was fascinating to help people, my skills weren't really that I could do them well, but to do $500 tax returns was not really what I was trained to do.
Yeah, and you did your business, you started your business because you wanted to, you're a mom.
Yes.
And how many children?
I have 3 children.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be around and be more involved with them as they grow up. Okay.
Well, I worked for a large firm, and I worked at home for them for the past 10 years. But at the end, I was done being told what to do when I was able to do it on my own. So I worked on building my own client base and having my own business.
Okay.
And it still allowed me to be at home, but if you're doing tax work, you are very busy 3-4 months of the year.
Yes.
Unbelievably busy. And having done that for 18 years, I don't want that for the rest of my life.
Yes. and both you and your husband were doing the same thing, but 2 different businesses. Correct? And what happened, take us through you deciding to take this job, and what happened, what did you decide to do as you and your husband, the business wise?
Well, we discussed it, and so we got our CPA license 2 weeks apart. So I feel that we have comparable professional experience. And it was interesting because I'd always put my career on the sideline so I could be home with the kids, because it was important to me when they came home from school that someone was there and that we could participate in their lives fully because we made them. But when it came to deciding, so I have to go to work every day now, and actually you're perfectly capable of taking on my clients, and he's a wonderful CPA, and why don't you step in my shoes, and I will go home and go out and go to work every day. It was fascinating to me how he felt sincerely that that was less than. And it kind of was eye-opening the way he phrased things, and well, I don't want to do that with my career, and that it was less than to be the person at home with the children. But logically, he knew it wasn't less than. So I could tell he would agree with me, and then he would be conflicted and hurt that I would really want that for him. And then I became, I think in retrospect, too aggressive about why wouldn't you want this? This is a beautiful, successful, small firm. Why wouldn't you want to continue step into my shoes? I'm giving you a beautiful gift. You know, no strings, just take it. And he really struggled with that because logically, good deal, emotionally, he didn't want to be that.
Because it's that we were talking about this before, that mold that as women we are put into, or the idea that women are caregivers. They are the best that they can take care of. They're nurturers, and they can take care of the kids, and but at the same time they can multitask and they can be successful in different areas, and it's all okay. But a lot of people, not just men, think that is, yes, it's okay that you have your business, it's okay that you're successful,
as long as you take care of all of this too.
and take care of all of us.
Yes.
Because he was in that package. You were probably taking care of him as well. And like you said, they know in reality it's not less than.
He knew logically. He knew it wasn't less than. I could see him really conflicted with that.
But then he has this stereotype image that he's the man.
And that was hard for him. But he ultimately agreed to do it. He agreed to do it.
Okay.
But he didn't quit his job fully. He thought he could do my job, that was my full-time job, part-time, because he's that much better, and then retain his job and just reduce his hours at work. And it was a nightmare, because when you're someone's CPA, you're responsible for them, and you have to get their work done timely and correctly. And we got partway into tax season and had a complete meltdown. Everything was a complete meltdown because he was getting so far behind, and he wouldn't communicate with me about how it was going. And then it reached a point where he had to come to me and say, you have to help me. I'm going to fail if you don't help me. And so...
Well, that took a lot of courage on his end.
Absolutely.
To do that, because we all want to demonstrate that we are capable of.
Of course.
And that was very courageous of him as well.
We had multiple conversations, and I just was so offended because I didn't realize how much he was working for his firm still. So you thought my whole business was something you could do in 15, 20 hours a week? Okay. So there was a lot of talks of...
That's the perception, yeah.
Yeah, so you think I'm not as good as you, or that it takes me a long time to do the same work, and it was hurtful. It was incredibly hurtful.
So before we get to how it made you feel, but you've been married for 12 years, right? So over the years, were there signs or were there things that you were like, and then you push it away?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about that? Just give us an example or two.
An example, when we first got married, he's a very big man, and he always took his shirts to the dry cleaners when he was a single man. And when we got married, he said, "Oh, well, you can iron my shirts." And I remember ironing his shirts, and it was like this whole thing, and I'm going, why the hell am I doing this? I have to go to work. I have kids to take care of. You can iron your shirts and send them to the dry cleaner. I'm not a housewife. I've never been a full housewife. It was like, you really thought that it was okay to make me your caretaker on that very intimate and daily level. You know what I mean? Yeah, when we were dating, I would do it nicely occasionally, but that's not something a wife does on the daily.
And it is interesting that, I know you as a strong woman, and it didn't happen overnight. That is who you are, right?
Yeah.
It's like how much we compromise.
Well, and you want everything to be smooth and everyone to be happy. And small kindnesses are one thing, but when someone keeps